Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards, back with another MTG video. Sorry if I don't sound great on this one. I don't know if it's something I ate today or if I'm just exhausted from the weekend I had or what. Maybe I'm just kind of burnt out, but the show must go on. I'm going to be going over the new Fallout cards, as you can see on the screen. Absolutely love these cards. I'm excited to get 4 new decks, just like with the Doctor Who cards and Commander decks. So I like this style that they're doing. Sometimes I wish they would do it with other stuff. Like I really wish they could have done it with like Evil Dead. Evil Dead's one of my favorites, and I kind of got. And same thing with Princess Bride. I was super excited for those cards, and they turned out to be just reprints, which I still love the arts, but the reprints, so it kind of bums me out. Anyway, this also gives me hope if we have Fallout that we might be able to get Elder Scrolls. That'd be cool. But I'll go over the arts and the cards themselves here quickly. Shouldn't be too long. There's not a lot shown off. There's 50 cards. A lot of them are interesting art styles. So the first one, you have the alternate art borderless cards. So you've got stuff like Arcane Signet again. This Arcane Signet, I actually love the art. This is showing the Pip-Boy. This is borderless art. It's the Pip-Boy Fallout cartoons. Talking about, I think they existed pre-Fallout. Talking about like duck and cover almost, you know, like that duck and cover old adage back during the, I think it's the it was around the 80s, I believe. I think it was like the 80s or sooner, when everyone was really worried about nuclear war. But Arcane Signet is a great card. I'm glad that we're getting it in decks. It'll probably be in every single one of the decks. So this card will be around. If you love Fallout, this art is amazing. Although it is the borderless, I don't think it'll be in the decks. I think there's another Arcane Signet. These are going to be in, I think, the collector boosters that you can get them in. I'm not sure how everything works. I should probably look into that. It might be that you get packs with the precons that you can also pull these from. Crucible Worlds, a great reprint. The card always sits around like your $15 mark. So getting a reprint of this is great. Being able to play lands from your graveyard is always a great choice. Even in casual decks, if you're running Terramorphic Expanse and the other one that is not in my head right now, you can replay them always to be able to grab more basics from your deck. And if you're running any fetch lands, the card becomes better. One of the first new cards we got here is Nuka-Cola Vending Machine. This is 3 generic mana for an artifact. Pay 1 generic, tap it, create a food token. When you sacrifice a food token, create a tapped treasure token. I think this card is insane for its pricing. As a turn 3 drop or a turn 2 or 3 drop, being able to just always make a food token whenever you want is great. Giving yourself some life. It's useful, and then that food token, which costs 2, will give you a tapped treasure. Excuse me. So in any food deck, even if you don't use this to make a food token, your food's giving you treasure is useful. But on top of that, I think a lot of people out there have said, I know, I think the professor had said this before, having mana sinks in Commander is great, because a lot of times you'll have a lot of mana and nothing to do with it. That's why commanders that have mana sinks are really strong, because they always give you something to do with it. But something like Nuka-Cola Vending Machine always gives you a way to make food. That food is always available to be sacked if you have extra mana. If you're running a control deck and you have no need to counter something or destroy something, you can make a food, sack the food, get a token. On your next turn, you have a treasure. That's 3 to make 1 treasure and gain 3 life is the basis there, which I like. It can go in any deck, but this card will definitely see play in food decks and token decks as a way to get treasures off of your food. Other than that, you might see it around. I enjoy it. A great Soul Ring. I love that the Soul Ring is the vault. You always find cool stuff in other vaults when you get there. I even love the little head for the symbol. But Soul Ring's great. I don't think we need to go into that. Should it be banned? I don't know. Legacy has it banned. Vintage has it restricted. I think it's too synonymous with Commander to ban it. I'll make an entire video someday about the ban list in Commander or something. A command tower. Love the look of this command tower. Super cool. The other one is also super cool, to be fair. But I love this. I think it's great. I love that it says go away. You'll get a lot of fun with that. Showing the two sides, like the mutant and the advanced technology. Great time. Love this card. And Wasteland. I love that we got a Wasteland. It makes so much sense in Commander to get Wasteland as a card. Wasteland's a card I think more people need to play in Commander. But that's more. Number one, it's a great reprint because all the card, like the cheapest version of it's going for like $16. The most expensive is the full art, or is that version. I don't know what the difference between these two are. Why one's 205, the other. Maybe the way you get them or something. I don't know. But the cheapest one is $16, showing you that the card's great. Any deck that's 2 or less colors, or 3 color decks that really have their color fixing set, being able to pop a non-basic land your opponent controls is great, either to take them off the colors they need, or to get rid of like a problematic card. It's fun, and anywhere from, like, because in casual, it's one of the few ways that destroying land is okay, because you're losing one, and they're usually okay with losing it, or they're understanding if you use it to kill off like the Crucible Worlds, or their one of the cards that Crucible Worlds, or one of the cards that allow them to Rogue's Passage, like utility lands. Getting rid of those is usually good. I still wouldn't play Wasteland in casual. I'd only play the intermediate or up. But now we get to the etched foiling, also known as the legendaries. These are the commanders of each of the decks. So you can kind of surmise from these commanders what the decks are going to be about. First, you have Caesar Legion's Empire. Legion's Emperor. 1 in Mardu, so red, white, black, for a 4/4 legendary creature human soldier. When you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. Create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Caesar Legion's Empire deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. Okay, this is a very, very strong commander. Not only does it have 100% like the classic like soup on this, just all the different things it can do. It's a 4/4, 4/4, a 4/4/4/4. It's a 4/4/4/4 mana, which is great. But this does 3 things. It produces tokens that can be used to trigger its effect, because you can sack those tokens. It draws you cards, and it has a win con in the form of dealing damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent, of which it's producing those tokens. So this thing fits all together into I make the tokens can be sacked to continue using my effect, I can draw you cards, and I have a way to use, and those tokens I'm generating allow me to deal damage to an opponent directly. Perfectly surmised all into one. Being able to choose 2 of them means you can keep flooding the field with tokens, sacking those tokens so you're getting 1 each turn. You're in white, so you can produce even more tokens, and doubling with I think there's like 1 white doubler for tokens. But also you can produce a bunch of tokens in Mardu. Mardu is known as, excluding any colors that have green, Mardu is the non-green color combination that makes a lot of tokens. So you flood the field with tokens, and then you can use the second effect to start taking your opponent out. You don't even have to hit them with the tokens. And it's when you attack. So you don't even have to attack with Caesar. You can have your 1/1 that was on the field earlier attack, when you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. You cannot sacrifice Caesar, but you can sacrifice the creature attacking. Replace that token with that creature that's attacking with 2 1/1s. And then repeat having one of the 1/1s attack, sacrificing with 2 more 1/1s. So the tokens are doing it. Caesar never has to swing at all. He's never in danger of dying. He can stay back and block other things. And he can just draw you a card each turn, produce a bunch of tokens, and eventually start burning your opponents out. And if you run extra combat steps in this deck, forget about it. Now you're going to be producing even more tokens. And if you can get enough tokens out in the field that all of a sudden your opponents are like 25 life, you've got 25 tokens, you can swing with them, and you may choose 2. You can't say that choose the same one, it looks like. It would, otherwise, if it says choose 2, it means you can only choose 2. If it identifies that you can choose the same one more than once, then you can do that. But this allows you to choose deal damage to an opponent, and if you have 2 extra combat steps, you can take your opponents out in one foul swoop. So this commander is insane. Again, it has card draw in it, which I love, and it has other card advantage in the form of soldiers, and it has a way to win. So everything about this commander is just insane. Expect to see it a lot. In my opinion, I think it's great. Next is we got Dogmeat Everloyal. This is Naya, so red, green, white for a 3/3 legendary creature dog. When Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards. Then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. When a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. So you don't even have to deal that damage to make the junk token. And when it ETBs, you're milling 5 and grabbing an aura equipment from your graveyard to your hand. So this technically is pretty decent with food chain, being able to suck Dogmeat off. You're in the colors for it, so you can do that. I don't know of like an aura or equipment that you're grabbing from your graveyard to win the game, but there's probably something in there where you can grab like what's the card? It's the Kiki Jiki aura. I'm spacing out on the card. Splinter Twins. You could grab Splinter Twin and then equip that, cast that onto a creature you have to win. So like that would be the high power version of this deck. Food chain, grab Splinter Twins, cast Splinter Twins on a creature that goes infinite with it. You're in the colors for that, like Village Bellringer does it, stuff like that. So you could win off that. That would definitely work. And then the other thing is the junk tokens. So you might think, what do junk tokens do? Here's the junk tokens. Sacrifice this artifact, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn, activate only as a sorcery. So junk tokens are card advantage. And your creatures that are enchanted or equipped attacks create a junk token. So they're going to give you draw. So if you run a bunch of... You're in the colors for Enchantress, so you're running an Enchantress deck. Dogmeat is going to be the outlet for you to go infinite with Food Chain to win. But you get him on the field, not necessarily for the mill 5 grab and aura equipment. That's useful for the win con and to get you somewhere at the beginning. Some type of like advantage at the beginning. But the main thing is when a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. So this is going to be an Enchantress deck. Don't run a lot of equipments. Run a lot of enchantment auras that are cheap. Put them in all your Monodorks that you're running and your Enchantresses. Swing with them. And when you attack, you're just going to make... Because when a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. So that's 1 per. So you attack with 5, you're going to make 5 junk tokens. You can then sack the 5 junk tokens right there and then to dig 5 to find your food chain and then go off with Dogmeat and whatever other food chain source you have in your graveyard. What's the one? It's the not Slow Bad. That's the other dumb goblin. It's nope, I can't remember the name, but the goblin that goes infinite with food chain. If you want to make this casual, just remove that part and add some flickers for dog meat, and you're good. Um, yeah, casual just don't have the infinite, and the deck will work fine. But yeah, I love dog meat. I think this is very much again pushed because it's 3 for 3/3, 3/3 for 3, 3/3, and it has a way to make and like the junk tokens. You're in blue, you're in green white, double them in like a casual deck or intermediate, like double the tokens, make more junk tokens, and they're artifacts. Run red stuff that burns your opponent because you make junk tokens. Run red stuff because the junk tokens got sacked. You have a lot of things you can do for artifacts. You could just burn your opponent out by sacrificing a bunch of junk tokens that you made, which again gives you the card advantage for that turn. This deck is again, it's pushed. It does everything you want. It is its own engine. It's the only thing it doesn't do is find a way to it doesn't give you that flicker dog meat, but you can find auras and equipments that do flicker dog meat, and using that to flicker dog meat, like the swords, the one sword that flickers, using that so dog meat can boom, go away, come back. What did he find? Oh, he found more auras and equipment for you that you can drop into, that you can put in your hand to put on more things. Dig, dig, dig. Oh, I got a bunch of junk tokens, and now I got a thing that whenever you sacrifice an artifact, deal 1 damage to your opponent. That's a black card, but I think there's a red card that's similar. Maybe it's ETBs, but you can just use that to dig further, find more auras and equipments, more ways to flicker dog meat. Flicker dog meat, find more things into your hand. It's a big cycle. I really like it. I love circular cards like that. Dr. Madison Lee, super cool. Dr. Madison Lee is Jeskai, so blue, red, white for 2/3 legendary human scientist. And I love this card instantly because it has to do with energies. Energy counters. English, do I speak it? Not very well, apparently. But whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy. Instantly right there, super simple thing to get an energy counter. What do? You cast an energy, boom, or you cast an artifact, boom, you get an energy. Simple as that. Next, tap it, pay an energy. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample and haste until end of turn. Absolutely perfect. Run a big creature. Boom, the creature now has haste and trample and can attack this turn. That's perfectly fine. Next, tap, pay 3 energy, draw a card. Okay? That's pretty good. Gotcha, draw. I like drawing a card. You run ways to untap it. Running a bunch of energy, like when you cast artifacts, cast a bunch of artifacts. You add a bunch of energy. Excuse me. Oh look, I'm just going to pay 3 energy to draw a card. That's pretty good. Untap it, going to pay 3 more, draw a card. Lastly, tap it, pay, I think that's 5 energy. I cannot, 1, 2. Yeah, pay 5. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now you're speaking my language. Now you're saying, hey, that big artifact in the graveyard that I want, that like 10-drop artifact, I don't want to pay for it. I already paid for all my cheap ones. Let's use the cheap ones to cast the big ones. You're in red, so you can dump artifacts into the graveyard easily. Boom, let's get this big 10-drop artifact onto the field. And then if you can untap it, that 10-drop artifact that was a creature, boom, now it has trample and haste. It gets +1, +0. Swing at that thing. Go kill them. Boom, they're done. We win. This synergizes very well. As long as you can just keep flooding the field with artifacts, you will. You could definitely run like an oops all artifact deck where like everything other than just the lands and her are artifacts in the decks. That's gonna really lead you to a great spot. Definitely get you somewhere where I really like that it produces the energies and it gives you stuff. Like, sure, the first one, that's one, isn't the best. You do need some, and it's because it requires something else on the field to be good. But there's 3 to just draw a card. Oh, I cast 3 artifacts. Let me just draw a card. And this 5 is gross. Like, let me pay 5 energy after casting like 6 cards. or after casting 5 artifacts, and oh look, here's my thing from my graveyard. Great. Back onto the field. And then just keep casting more artifacts. Super strong. Absolutely love this card. I don't think I love it as much as the other ones. So I love that it's Jeskai. And I love that it's energy tokens, which is cool. Or energy counters, which is cool. I'm waiting to see what more energy counters stuff they show off that you can, like, do with her. Also, I'm waiting. I need to double check what energy counter stuff is out there other than just the one that lets you cast stuff for free off the top of your deck. Still great. Absolutely love it. Last, the Wise Mothman. Absolutely love this card. 1 black, 1 Insult Dice, so 1 black, green, blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, insect mutant with flying. This is definitely my card, guys. If you know, you know. I'll go over the counter in a second, but flying, when the Wise Mothman enters the battlefield or attacks, each player gets a raid counter. When 1 or more non-land cards are milled, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number non-land cards milled this way. What that means is if someone mills 10 cards, if someone mills 10 cards, and 5 of them were non-land, you then get to put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, so where X is the number of non-land milled this way. So you'd be able to put a 1/1 counter on 5 target creatures. But if they mill 1 card and it's a land that's null, you put 1/1 counter on 0. If they mill 1 card and it's not a land, you put a 1/1 counter on 1 creature. So if you trigger like 10 mills, set each individually by making the mill 10 times, and 5 of them are non-lands, you could put 5 1/1 counters on 1 creature. So that's that. Ignore that noise. That's my cat scratching at something. And she's okay. So, what is a radiation card? So again, when it enters the battlefield or attacks, each player gets a raid counter, right? Rad counter. So radiation. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, if you have any rad counters, mill that many cards. For each non-land card milled this way, you lose 1 life and a rad counter. So, what's cool about the radiation counters, or the rad counters, this triggers when the Wise Mothman ETBs or attacks. Now, I'm assuming there a lot of decks are going to have more. So, because at the beginning of a pre-combat main phase, if you have a rad counter, mill that many cards. So what that means is, like, if you have 1 rad counter, it means you mill 1 card at your pre-combat main phase. So, untap, upkeep, draw, pre-combat main phase. Okay, it's the beginning of my pre-combat main phase. I have 1 rad counter, mill a card, it's a land. I keep the rad counter. I lose a life. Yeah, I keep the land counter. Oh, I milled a non-land. I'm going to lose a life and lose the rad counter. Cool. Okay. Now, if you had 5 radiation counters, 5 rad counters means you would get to your pre-combat main phase. You would mill 5 cards, 1 per card. Yeah. Mill that many cards. For each non-land card, so if 2 of them are non-land cards, you would lose 2 life and lose 2 rad counters. And then Mothman would be able to put a 1/1 counter on 2 target creatures. Again, Mothman in the deck with rad counters is going to continue doing that. And they are counters, which means they can be proliferated. And you are in the colors that proliferate counters the best. So proliferating the rad counter at the end of your turn means, oh, let's keep giving everyone else rad counters. And each player gets a rad counter. This includes you, which means you are also self-milling yourself, which again is really interesting. So you're milling yourself, you're milling everyone, and you are also dealing damage. So you're losing life as well with this rad counters. Everyone is radiated here. Now, the Wise Mothman doesn't do a lot, but it's on ETB and attack. You are in blue, so you can probably flicker the crap out of this card, because that's on ETB. So if you flicker it, you're going to be like, oh, it entered the battlefield. Surprise, everyone get a rad counter. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Run all the proliferations you can. All of a sudden, someone's turn comes up. Oh, I got 10 rad counters. Gotta mill 10 cards. Crap, I got rid of 5 of them. Lose 5 life. Keep going, proliferating, flickering the Wise Mothman. Go, 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 make people mill. So this mills people, and it makes them lose life. And while you're doing this, you are giving it, you're making the Wise Mothman bigger, and all your other creatures bigger, including like rogues. Because a lot of these rogues that are in Dimir trigger when you hit people. So since you're making these guys bigger, you can run all the rogues that deal combat damage, that make them mill. I'm hoping we get more mutants. We're probably, this is the mutant deck. We're probably going to get a lot of mutant cards that really push the Wise Mothman to mill, or to, they won't mill them, they will give them rad counters. Whenever this creature deals damage, they get, there's probably going to be like a keyword, like radiation, although, yeah, well, because this one spreads it to everyone. I'm wondering if we're going to get a keyword that, like, maybe it's down below, I'll look, but that, like, when this mutant deals damage to a player, they get that many rad counters. You have a few other versions of this, which is this one. This is the other cool art. I do like it. A little better than this version, to be fair. I like this version because it's really helping this person, but this is like someone took a picture of it. I like it. It's interesting. So, out of these, what they represent, this represents the humans, and the human enemies that you're facing, Caesar's Legion. Dogmeat represents the aura and equipment that you find out in the wilderness and your companions that help you, and is very Dogmeat. This is very Caesar. Dr. Madison Lee represents the scientific minds trying to either destroy the world or repair it. And Mothman represents the monsters, the mutants that just happen to be out there. Each one doing something unique. Dr. Madison brings us something that we really needed from old stuff. The Wise Mothman brings us something new. And these guys, I guess Dogmeat brings us something new with junk tokens, which is cool. Caesar doesn't bring anything new, but just does a lot of things, which is really cool. Let's get to the showcase cards here. First off, Idolize. Idolize is 1 in a white for, and this is for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchant creature has, when this creature attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of non-land permanents you control. This is crazy. Okay, I absolutely love this because this is going to give your creatures, like, I mean, your commander. Oh, I've got, and this is non-land permanent. So if you're running a token deck, or a like, let's think, like, not just a creature token deck, yeah, but if you're running a treasure token deck, or a clue deck, or you're just swarming the field with stuff, non-land cards, Idolize is a great finisher. Oh, look, my commander is now, it's attacking alone. It's a +10/+10. Like, even just on here, putting that on Dogmeat after you find it, and you've got, like, all these auras equipped to all these creatures, right? You've got 20 of them. Dogmeat's now at 23, and he's going to hit you. And since it's an aura deck, I probably have a way for it to block, and boom. Boom, you're done. Like someone's dead. Putting it on Caesar, who's making the tokens. That's gonna make it bigger. Great. Anything that makes tokens or floods the field, Idolize is a great finishing opportunity to take one problematic person out. Raid Storm. 3 in a blue. Storm. Proliferate. I've been waiting for a while for a Storm card that proliferates. I love it. I love the concept. Spam a bunch of 1-drops. Here's my 5 1-drops. Cast Raidstorm. That's a total of 5 plus that's 9, and then you get to proliferate. What is that? 6 times. Cool. Everyone gets 6 more rad tokens, which is why it's called Radstorm, because radiation tokens are the thing here. But in any deck, like, this is going to allow you to finish people off in infect decks. In fact, there's even a CEDH deck I've looked at using, well, the one I looked at was mono black, but I'm pretty sure there's a black blue deck that could probably be ran that has enough. There are black blue cards that just say each opponent or each player gets a poison counter. Radstorm allows you to cast then 8 cards plus Radstorm to just win the game. There's a few other cards that help you do this that I really like. So I'm going to see if I can break that. At least high power. Vat's super unique card. 2 and 2 black for instant speed, split second, so you can't react to it. That's Vats. Choose any number of target creatures with equal toughness. Destroy the chosen creatures. I really love this. One thing to show here, if we go back to Scryfall here, some random thing. If we go back to Scryfall, I'm showing this off just to make sense of everything. But if you do toughness and you check out 2 toughness, legal in Commander, you'll get 300 or 3,551 cards that have 2 toughness. If you switch that to 1, you are looking at 3,176. And if you hit 3, which is where I'll stop, 3,124. There are a lot of cards out there that have the same toughness. What this does with Vats is make it a 3-drop selective removal. Someone running a bunch, like you're playing against 2 decks that run a bunch of Monodorks. All of them are X1s. Pop them all. Running up against a bunch of hate bears. A bunch of hate bears just happen to have 2 toughness. All gone. Vats is good in a lot of situations. I do fear how many times you'll see Vats and just go, oh, I wish this was just the 4-drop blackboard, right? Like, oh yeah, that would have just been better here. But with split second and not being able to react to it, that's pretty useful. Alpha Deathclaw, interesting. 4 black green for a 6/6 lizard mutant. Menace Trample. When Alpha Deathclaw enters the battlefield or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. 7 monstrous 4, which means it'll get 4 1/1 counters on it, making it a 10/10. With Menace and Trample means it's going to get in hit, but it's not repeatable. I mean, like in a Flicker deck, sure, it's repeatable. In a Recursion deck, maybe. So it comes in the field and blows something up, and then you mutate it for 7 and blow something up. And then you have a 10/10 with Menace Trample that can still attack that turn. I think it's a little too expensive for everything it's doing. I think it's more flavorful than anything at the most part. But 6 mana to just get something that hits the field and blows something up, but can't do anything that turn, kind of sucks. It'll be killed before it mutates. I mean, the following turn you can mutate it, right? So the following turn you're swinging with a 10/10 at someone, which is interesting. I'd only run this in a Reanimator deck. I guess maybe in a big creature deck where you're slamming down a lot of mana and the Deathclaw comes out and you blow up a problematic permanent, and then next turn you mutate it and you're just swinging out with this 10/10. If you can give it infect, that's 1 hit, but that's a lot of ifs. Like, it's a bunch of if you can. Any cards with that many ifs just makes it less and less good. There's the Caesar, Dog Meat, Dr. Madison, and the Wise Mothman, all in their showcase cards. Showcase art, what I like. Another extended, Overcumbered, super interesting. Overcumbered is 1 and a white for an enchantment aura, enchant opponent. When over-encumbered into the battlefield, enchant opponent creates a clue token, a food token, and a junk token. Yeah, at the beginning of combat on enchanted opponent's turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this combat. So you over-encumber. You give up 3 things. The junk counter, unfortunately, giving them a junk counter sucks because they can just sack it off right away. Now, the issue with sacking right away is they might get rid of a card they can't use. This is a 2-drop curse. It's not even a curse. I don't like that it's not called a curse because it says enchanted permanent, so it is a curse. And everything except for wording. They can sack it, but the thing is, if you do this turn 2 and they sack it and they hit a 6-drop, it's gone forever. Right? And then the other 2, the clue and the food, well, you want to sack those, but to do so you have to pay 2. So, okay, do you have 3 mana to attack? You toss over encumbered on a opponent, and they're gonna be. Oof, I love the food and the clue token here. I guess those are. Oh yeah, those are from Doctor Who though. I can't wait to see what they look like for this set. But you toss those on an opponent who wants to attack, and they're gonna have to find a way to get rid of those. The player pays 1 for each artifact they control, which means you can also just shove it on an artifact player, and now they can't attack you. Cast it on an artifact player and just make them feel bad. Feral Ghoul. 2 and a black for a 2/2 zombie mutant with menace. When another creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter on Feral Ghoul. When Feral Ghoul dies, each opponent gets a number of rad counters equal to its power. So maybe it's going to be death triggers. This card will probably be in the Mothman deck. So yeah, whenever another creature you control dies. So if you're sacrificing creatures, there's a really nice black draw engine where you run a bunch of these X ones that allow you to return them from grave to the battlefield or grave to hand, and you can recast them. And you can use stuff like what are they called? Skull Clamp or other sack outlets to sacrifice them. And the Feral Ghoul keep getting bigger and bigger, and then when it does die, each opponent gets a number of red power. So even if someone kills it right away, they're each getting 2 counters. But if you can kill off some of your creatures, and you get to 5, like 5 red, that's pretty good. Like, eventually it might get so big that they really don't want the rad counters because they're like, that's gonna make us mill. I don't just leave it alive, right? But now it's hitting us, and it's got menace. So like, yeah, right. Kill it. Get the rad counters. Kill it. Kill it quick. 2 more legendaries that they show off, which are super unique, are Mr. House, President and CEO. This is from Vegas. Red, Mardu's a red, white, black for a 0/4 legendary creature human. When you roll 4 or higher, create a 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. If you roll 6 or higher, instead, create that token and a treasure token. Pay 4, tap it, roll a 6-sided die, plus an additional 6-sided die for each mana from a treasure spent to activate this ability. Okay, so you don't, when you roll a 4 or higher, so honestly, this card gets a little confusing almost. So you roll a 6-sided die plus a number of 6-sided dice, an additional 6-sided dice. So when you roll 4 or higher, create a 3/3. When you roll 6 or higher, instead, create a token or treasure. So I guess since you're rolling them together, you take that one result. So I would almost say just pay 1. You don't want to, like, I think that's going to be how it's taken. The way it could be taken, which I think is incorrect, is like if you paid 4 treasures, you're rolling 5 of them, and if all 5 are 6s, you're making 6 robots or 5 robots and 5 treasures. I don't think that's how it is. I think like you roll 2 6. Like if you pay 1 treasure, if one of the 4 is a treasure, you roll 2, and if it's like a 3 and a 3, you get a robot and a treasure. And if it's like a 5 and a 5, you still just get a robot and a treasure because you still rolled higher than a 6 because you paid more money to roll more dice to get the better odds. I think that's how it's going to be taken. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not sure. It'll be one of those two ways. Either way, this is an interesting dice rolling, like gambling thing, where you use it. It's in the colors. It's in red, so it has other dice rolling from D&D. Because you can roll D20s and almost always get past a 4 and a 6. So yeah, just dice roll. It also, again, is circular. Its effect is triggered by its stuff, which is cool. And then you can just run more stuff that either likes you rolling dice because it rolls dice, or stuff that likes that, or things that allow you to roll dice. So I like it. I like making the 3/3 robot artifact creature tokens, and I enjoy making treasures. So interesting. And it's in white, so you do at least have one doubler for tokens. A Rex Cyberhound, a 1 white blue for a 2/2 legendary artifact creature robot dog. Actually, if you think Mr. House will probably be in some Caesars, and then Rex will be in the Doctor deck. So, because most of these equivalent to like going in a deck that it fits the themes. So Rex, when it deals combat damage to a player, they mill 2 cards. You get 2 energy. You pay 2 energy, choose target creature card in a graveyard, exile it with a brain counter on it, activate it on its sorcery. Rex has all activated abilities of all cards, and exile with brain counters on them. This is great. I love this. The commander itself has ways to do stuff. If you make this your own commander, again, you do have this really nice set where he attacks, he mills, he gets the energies. The energies can then be used right away to exile a creature that they milled, or from any graveyard. That being said, put a brain counter on it. Only as a sorcery, so you do this at your post-combat phase, main phase. Then he gets all activated abilities of all cards and exile. You can also exile creature card in a graveyard, so you can get more activated abilities on him from banishing stuff from your creatures from your graveyard to give him activated abilities on those, which is also good. He just can't help you mill yourself. But milling your opponents with him, double striking to get even more stuff, because then you can activate it even more. More energy cards to give you more energy stuff. It just loops exiling stuff from your opponent's graveyards. And in fact, you can run mill cards in your deck, because you can mill them faster to find more activated abilities to be able to use with Rex, which is cool. I like it. I think it's a fun little like 3-drop for a 2/2. It's in blue, so give it ways to be unblockable. Equip it with some double strike, and you'll be off to the races with messing with energy stuff and getting even more cool activated abilities off your opponent's cards. We've talked about most of these cards. Here we go. Here's one new one, Great Clone. Great Clone is 1 and a white for a 1/3 human citizen. Squad 2. This is a new ability. So squad means as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay 2 any number of times. When this creature enters the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it. When Great Clone attacks, each creature you control named Great Clone gets +1/+0 till end of turn. Gray. What this means is is it Gray? No, it's Gary. Is it Gray? No, it's Gray. So the way this works is very simple. You pay 2, and then you pay 10, let's say. You squad 5 times, so you're going to make 5 copies of it. Then, next turn when you attack with all 6 of them, they're going to get +6/+0. I like it. I think it's interesting. It's a good way to make tokens. If you have ways to double tokens in your deck, that's great. This is going to probably be in the token deck. Caesar's deck, and that's just going to give you a lot of tokens, which can all be used to win with Caesar. Really enjoy this card. I love the concept of squad. Give me a cool ETB with that, with a squad card. Idolize, we already showed that one off. Overcomer was shown off. Okay, here we go. Vault 101 Birthday Party. This is based off of, I believe, the Fallout 3 birthday. So it's 3 and a white for a 3-chapter story or saga. Chapter 1, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token and a food token. Chapter 2, you may put an aura or equipment card from your hand or grave it onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put into the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. That's the 2 of them. So, it's like woo, birthday, having a good time, and then like, hey, you get weapons. Two weapons, or 2 auras. Yeah, fun. So the 1/1 human soldier that you make can have the equipment and auras attached to it to get it bigger. Otherwise, make the 1/1 human and the food, and then just put equipment and auras on your commander. This is great in any equipment aura deck. Probably in the Caesar deck, I would assume. Radstone, Foul, Vats, Alpha. Okay, here we go. Intelligence Bobblehead. We're going to get probably an artifact for each Bobblehead. I'm assuming almost all of them are going to be in the Intelligence deck or the Artifact deck. Pay 3, Artifact, Bobblehead. I love that it gets its own card type, Bobblehead. Tap, add a mana of any one color. That's great. But they've been showing us that they know how to make 3-drop artifacts that tap for any color, because God's another ability. Pay 5, draw X cards, where X is the number of bobbleheads you can show. I could see a lot of decks running every single bobblehead. Each bobblehead per, I think we'll get 1 for each special, which would be cool. And yeah, I mean, draw X, where X is the number of bobbleheads. So 5 to draw 1 isn't great, but 5 to draw... I don't know how to spell special. Special. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 7. So it could be 5, draw 7. That's not bad. I like that. I think that'll be a fun thing to do in decks, is to just like run all the bobbleheads from Fallout. Like, why not? If they're all doing cool things for 3, I could see that. There's the Nuka-Cola vending machine we talked about, command towers, and then let's, you've got the lands, that is a settlement from Fallout 4, that's a railroad place, I think also from Fallout 4, that's the sea, I want to say that's from Fallout 3, Dogmeat's in all of them, that's a bridge, maybe from Fallout 3, I think that's Fallout 4. That's a huge crevice. I think that's Fallout 3. That mountain, I think, is Fallout with the armor. I think that's New Vegas, because that's the mountain area. That's New Vegas, I believe, with the railroad track. Oh, there's a railroad that might be 4. That's another settlement. I want to say that's 4. I might be getting this all wrong. I'm just guessing, to be honest. And I think that's maybe not New Vegas. New Vegas doesn't have a forest area. I think that's 3 then. But I love the art. I love post-apocalypse. That being said, that's all the cards that have been shown off. I'm Izzy. You're the viewers. Still trying to come up with a name. Thanks for watching Roll of Virtual Cards. Peace.